Hi gang, Mr. Ed here. Thanks for joining me for a watercolor speed art. So I'm not a watercolor painter, not really so much a subject painter. I love to paint textures and abstracts and stuff like that, but subjects have always kind of eluded me with paint, and because there is a little bit of a barrier to entry with paint compared to like paper and pencil, it's not something that I really focused on as a child. And when I did have a chance to use paints and paint brushes, I wasn't immediately good, like in contrast to what I was able to do with the pencil and paper. I was like, okay, I'm like back at square one with this. So I was a little bit discouraged by it, and I was like, you know what, I'm just going to focus on what I'm good at, and maybe I'll pick that up later. Well, here it is 40 years later, and I'm going to try and pick it up. So I've been over the last couple years watching my favorite artists watercolor, and they're so good and just amazing, and then when I try to do it, it turns out like bleh. But really it's all about practice and getting to know the characteristics, the personality of the medium. And then once you get to know it and you're best friends, then you can do stuff together that's really fun. And that's kind of how I look at it. So this boulder here, this is like the fifth one that I've tried to do, and it's the best one. So I am getting somewhere. I'm getting better at it. But it's a boulder with moss, so the subject itself really is by and large textural and kind of an abstract. And there's just a little bit of form there that suggests what it might be. So as far as like if I was painting a face or something like that, no, that's down the road a ways. But this, I think I did pretty good for like my fourth or fifth attempt. And I tried a tree with a swing set and I didn't like it. That was like one of the first ones that I did, and it's sitting on the side, and I haven't thrown it away, so I may come back to it later and put some more work into it. And right now, since I did so good on this boulder, I'm going to try and do this waterfall that I wanted to do in paint, like acrylic, and it just didn't work out. And then I tried to sketch it, and I couldn't do it in halftoning, so it really demands color, and it really demands watercolor. So I'm going to try and do that. So maybe I'll give that a try a couple times, and maybe the fourth or fifth time I'll tape it and show you guys. So that's what happened here. I went through a lot of footage trying to get something that I could show you guys and you possibly learn from. So again, I am not good at doing watercolors, despite what you see here. This comes at the end of a couple weeks of practice and working with these colors to figure out how I can get them to do what I want them to do. And then even then I had to practice a few times to get it to look just right. I have the tendency, and this may be a tip for you guys if you're just learning how to do this, I have a tendency to overwork it, to add too much, to keep putting on what's there. Keep in mind that the negative space, the blank paper space, that's a color too, and you need to be mindful of using it, because every time you put down something, you're taking away. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you do, if you learned something, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, comment, hit the bell, all that stuff. And remember, as always, I love you guys, and thanks for tuning in, and take care.